Welcome everybody, it is the One to Go show, it is Puka, it is Hall of Fame night in Hibbing, and we're going to get to a special interview here with a very special guest in just a second. I just want to give a shout out to one of our longtime sponsors, L&M Radiator, Masabi.com, just not even a mile down the road. If you're looking for a job, or your husband needs a job, or your brother-in-law needs a job, or your sister-in-law needs a job, Masabi.com will be in the show notes. Just click on it. They need 30 people yesterday, so that's the place to go. And like I said, move up to Hibbing, you're less than a mile from the track. It's a great place. All right, we're at the track in kind of an indiscreet location. Pete Wohlers getting inducted. Congratulations into the Hall of Fame tonight. So, guy from my generation, a guy that I watched race a lot of laps here. One of the most kind, thoughtful, genuine people you'll ever meet, and you know I mean that. And this will be a fun interview, I think. So, okay. So
honored to be on.
So let's bring it way back to that first race, the week leading up, the anticipation. What do you remember about racing a street stock back in
1985?
As a 15-year-old?
Maybe earlier than that. I just in the 80s.
What do you remember?
What I remember about that race, it was a 77 Chrysler Newport. It was a big boat, and in the first corner, I got ran into. And I remember how loud and violent it was in the car to get hit in a race car. So that's my first memory of racing, but I was very nerve-wracking.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
So you did street stocks or hobby stocks, whatever they called it back then, for how long?
5 years.
5 years. Then to the super stocks.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And that's you really kind of made your name there, right?
Yes.
2 national titles, right? 90 and 91.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, it started in 1989, and we got an old Sanger car from John Carpenter for about $200 at the chassis.
Sanger car. That's an old name there.
Sanger chassis. And we took that car to the Pierce household, Danny Pierce, John, Roseanne, John Jr. We built that car in their garage with their tools and their help. We ended up that year, I think 1989, we had 5 wins with that car. It took us half the year to get the car figured out. We actually had to move the rear end laterally in the car. I remember that change we made, and once we did that, it started to pick up, and we won a few races and were competitive in a lot, and that just got us going for the next 2 years.
So you've told me in the past, we talked about back then now, for those of you that are young, much younger than Pete and I, there was a claim rule. They could claim your engine if you placed whatever, top 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Top 10, they could claim your engine. So you couldn't be some just off the wall guy, but you had to be somewhat competitive and they claim your engine. You always told me the cam was the key. Tell me about the cam.
Well, the cam was the key. What we ran back then was a hydraulic cam when everybody was running solid liquid cams, and there was a duration, height and duration rule, cam rule on it, so you could only run certain cams. Well, we ran, I could say it now, we ran an Iski cam back then. We were running in Superior, and one of our biggest competitors, Mike Rich, was a great competitor. We were beating him all the time, so obviously we had to have something special, and so he claimed the motor, and we paid the $350 instead of taking the other motor, taking his motor. And what had happened there is then they spec'd the cam, and the cam was so worn out they thought it was a Cam Dynamics cam at the time, and they didn't even get the right information. So, but that was Mike Volker. Mike Volker was our engine builder. Mike and Mary helped me tremendously. He stayed up late at night. You couldn't balance the rods or anything at the time, but he would get a bunch of stock rods, weigh them all, get everything as close as he could. But the idea behind that cam was that you didn't have to adjust the lifters at all, and you could work on the suspension. That was the trick.
Okay.
That's why we did.
So leaf springs back then?
Yeah.
Leaf springs. So think about that, racers. Leaf springs, 2 national titles. Unbelievable. So that's great. All right. So we're at Hibbing Raceway. You're being inducted into, obviously, and congratulations. I don't even think I said congratulations. Congratulations. So you're being inducted into the Hibbing Raceway Hall of Fame. What's your favorite, or that one moment at Hibbing that really stands out above all the others? Because you had a lot of wins here, obviously.
Well, obviously the Hibbing Raceway is very special to me. My dad started racing. Honestly, it's other races here for me that come to mind first. Watching my dad when I was a kid, I think it was 5 or 6 when he was racing, but I still remember that. Watching Zach win the Labor Day Shootout, Danny Pierce win the Labor Day Shootout.
Sure.
I think I have been more excited for that. And obviously,
And you're a limited shootout winner.
Yeah.
Let's tell everyone.
Well,
It's
it's
in
hard
a
to
super
do.
and a late model?
Yes.
And a hobby stock? Did they have hobby stock?
We won the first annual Hobby Stock Invitational.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, but it's hard to do. Anyone that wins Labor Day will tell you that. We tried for a long time. It was hard. And, those wins I'll always remember.
All right, so I kind of skipped over your late model. So 92?
Yep.
The red Budweiser Iron Trail Motors Zinnies car.
You're missing a car. We had the Rayburn, the orange Rayburn.
Oh, the orange, the blue 71. That's right.
Still leaf spring car, single leaf coil over. We had a good year. I think we won 8 or 9 shows that rookie season, top 10 in Minnesota national points. It was a great year, transition year. And then towards the end of that year, we were struggling a little bit, and we ordered another chassis, a Figures chassis, with the Z-Link in the back, and we crashed. We rolled over. We went into overend and stock center when we had it on order. It worked out. We got the car, but we struggled some with that car, with the Z-Link car, until we shortened the rear rods and did some things to that. And we had quite a few good runs and won a few features with that too.
Okay. And I don't want to glaze over your ASA career. So he does the dirt late models, and you go ASA for
Just
half a year or one race?
A couple races.
Couple
races. It was a dream of mine to always try it. I know there's a lot of guys in Minnesota right now that can race in that series, and just where we live, and just not the coverage here. I just wanted to do it. It was something I wanted to do. The late models were getting out of reach for me. The money, the technology. I just knew, getting older, I got a little smarter. I thought I got a little smarter, and looked around and saw who I was racing against and the funds that we were actually competing with at the time, and I just knew that the handwriting was on the wall. So at that time, I financed everything, and my goal was to get one of the best of everything, so I could be competitive in the ASA deal. If we broke it, figured out then. But long story short, we ended up blowing the motor qualifying at the Milwaukee Mile. And it was just too much. So we sold everything, and then from there, after that it was working with other team owners and in the late model class driving for them.
So when's the last time you were in a car? Provenzino about 5 years ago?
No, it was actually Zach's car. Probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
I helped Zach out for a couple nights, and we raced Grand Rapids and Superior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah, you were down in Superior. That's right. I think I remember that now. So
yeah,
awesome. So obviously Hibbing. We're talking about Hibbing Hall of Fame, one of the original Wazota tracks. What is it about this place? You got the old grandstands. Of course, it used to be the fairgrounds. There's kind of something nostalgic about this place.
Well, one of the things I do appreciate is the history. I grew up here, like I said, 5 years old. I remember sitting on the horse stables up here, and that's the truth. I remember I actually used to stand on them out there and watch. They were torn down. Obviously my dad, I grew up here. I remember, and I think it was in the early 70s, it was either Joey Chitwood or a Daredevil show where they had cars on 2 wheels off ramps.
Really?
I
didn't know that.
Oh yeah. That's aging me a bit, but I do remember that. But the Hibbing Raceway, my home track, there's been so many good memories here with my dad and my family and Zach, and it's just really, really special to us.
Yeah, so let's talk about Zach. Guy I consider a friend, Zach. How proud of him are you?
Well, I couldn't be more proud of Zach. Zach, I stranded Zach for a lot of years running around racing myself, and as people know, and he knows that how long it takes and the dedication it takes, but he paid a price. So I couldn't be more proud of him. He's a great competitor. He's the late model he's in now is a 2006. He's done some things to it himself, and to be competitive with that old car, he's won a couple races.
Right.
As far as the racing goes, I could be proud of it. But I'm most proud of him right now is how good of a dad and partner he is to Kendra and the grandkids, 2 grandkids, and one on the way.
One on the way. Oh,
yeah.
Congrats! I didn't know that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
congrats, Zach. All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah, could not be more proud.
Okay, so last question, personally, what does this mean to you? Hall of Fame. And you deserve it. There's no question. But what does it mean? you've had what? I texted you. I don't know. How long has it been? 6 weeks, 4 weeks since they announced it?
Probably.
What does it mean to you personally?
Well, I think I mentioned to you earlier that I wrote a small speech, and I can't get through it without crying. So it means the world to me. For a kid from Kelly Lake, low budget team, always, it means the world to me. It really does. I'm honored, and the group of people that I'm winning with this year, unbelievable.
Right.
I grew up watching those guys. looking up to them. I raced against Harry and Jeff, great competitors and great people. And then with Billy and Debbie going in at the same time, and I mean, I think I mentioned in my speech that they're probably tired of babysitting me all the way here. So, but it's a true, I couldn't be happier and more honored.
All right, awesome. Couldn't be happier for you. Congratulations. Great honor. You're gonna want to share this if you got, if you got someone in your family or other race fans in the '90s, you're gonna want to share this. Pistol Pete Wohlers, Kelly Lake, Minnesota, into the Hall of Fame. We'll catch you all in the next video.